Hello everyone, it's me, the one and only Cataboos. This is just a short video I'm putting on my second channel to show you guys how I made my AOONI song, aka Shadow in the Mansion. Woo! Okay, whatever. So, by the way, I'm just gonna let you know right now, this FLP is really disorganized. Please excuse me for that. I was gonna record a behind the scenes that had live footage of me actually making it, but I was too scared to publicly upload my raw singing unedited voice clips, so I didn't do that. But here, I'm just gonna break this down and show every little part to you. So first we have this scary intro part. So this is Model D. This is a built-in FL Studio plugin. If you have FL 2024, then it should be there. It's in the FL Cloud. This is the best piano plugin ever. I put some effects on it. It's super spacey, and I put these really, really distended, broken chords, but it mostly just sticks around C minor. And this really low note really sets the vibe. This pattern is the same, it's just the piano's bit crushed. Well, the pattern's a little different. This one's got a more repetitive pattern, while this one's more humanized looking. This is just a splice loop that I bit crushed. I put an audio gate and a compressor and then a bit crusher. This is a clock sample that I panned between your ears. This plays very frequently throughout the whole song. It's just good for filling it out, especially when you're making a song. I think this beat with how this song sounds so industrial and grimy almost. You really want to focus to fill it out and make it not sound empty. With this kind of music, you really want to focus on sounds instead of melodies and chords. I think that's what made the genre. That's how I got this song to sound the way it does. Sorry. And I have this weird Spider-Verse Prowler thing that I also got off Splice. It's muffled here, but it kind of switches up later in the song. But again, this just sticks around C. The key of this song is C minor, and if you listen to it, you'll probably notice that this song doesn't really have a super distinctive chord progression. It mostly just sticks around C. But yeah, that's about it. This is another loop. This has a lot of the low end cut off of it, and it's compressed to absolute hell, as though with this basic trap snare. So and then who could forget, it wouldn't be a song about AOONI if I did not have the chase music from the actual game. I did cut off the low end for this, because if you listen to the original, it sounds like this. And I didn't want that low humming sound because it was off key. So I just cut it off like that. As well with a few other little features and stuff. And this is a low whistle. No, it's a really high whistle. This is another thing that I'd advise doing in your music if you feel it sounds too empty. Just take the root note of your song and just play a really high note on that root note, and then that's it. This is what this sounds like. It's just a C note, and that's it. It just plays that C and it doesn't do anything else. But it helps so much. This is what it sounds like without the C. And with the C, it sounds like this. it's not a huge difference, but it really just ties everything together in a little bow, and it makes it just feel so much more eerie. And this part is where stuff starts to get like serious. So okay, I'm gonna break this down. This piano is different now. It's got an actual melody to accompany it. It's like a lot of off-key notes make up this melody, which is what makes it sound so like dainty and distended and like scary almost. But now the song actually has a chord progression. It goes from the C to a very, very startling and off-key F sharp. And what the C to the F sharp does is, I don't really know how to explain it. I don't know a lot about music theory, but having this jump to such an off-key note makes it sound scary. That's how I make scary music. That's how I made this song. Just a lot of off-key, close together notes. As well as like randomizing the placement and the velocity of these notes, so that way it kind of sounds like a human is playing it and it's not like a MIDI keyboard. More in this part, a lot of it is the same. There's this impact sound effect, as well with this really quiet fill that plays a lot in the song. This kick, which by the way has side chaining, which makes every other instrument duck out when the kick hits. So like if I play it with the bass, and this is without the sidechaining. Sidechaining is typically used to not only clean up the mix of a song, but it also makes the kick feel way punchier. And you don't have to just use sidechaining on a kick. You can use it on like anything. The bass, I love this bass. This is 3, what even is this? This is vital, vital, and vital. First thing we have is this. This thing is distorted a lot. These are all built-in vital presets, by the way. Like, I didn't change these. I don't know anything about sound design at all. So that's kind of like the top part of the bass to make it sound like ear grating in a way. This is the sub. You can't exactly hear this in the song, but it makes such a huge difference because this sub is what makes the bass like feel like a bass. And then I have this. This just adds so much thickness because if I play it with the sub and the top, then it sounds like this. Which, yeah, that sounds good, but with something on such like a low part of the frequency spectrum playing with something on such a high part of the frequency spectrum, it needs something in the middle to kind of like blend them together. So you add this and then it sounds like this. And it just makes it so much more pleasant to listen to. This is like a weird like Foley. I don't even know. This says congest, but I don't think that's like an instrument. This is just like a loop I found on Splice. I thought this sounded cool. This is like a sample that I distorted a lot. Without distortion, it sounds like this. I wanted it to kind of sound like whispering, and that's like what I did. I have a different snare here. Quick music tip. If you want parts of your song to feel different or have different like levels of energy, or if you just want your song to not sound too repetitive, use different drums at different points in your song. A lot of the time when I tell that to beginner producers, they're like, will that make it sound weird? And no, it definitely will not. Switching up the drums in this song a lot, which I did, and I'll talk about later, makes it sound so much better. It would not sound good if I just used this kick the whole song. It would not sound good. Another sample, this is atonal. This is just like a weird glinty thing. This is really pretty sounding. Here's that bass again, except it's not muffled anymore. And now it's pitched to go with the C to F sharp progression. As well as this weird like dubstep growl sound effect. Yeah. Something a lot of people ask me is how I get my music to sound so like full and not empty. And I don't even know. Half the time I think my music sounds empty. But I think a lot of it just comes to like, I think people, when they think their music sounds empty, they just keep adding stuff, which won't help. I think a lot of the time, what makes your music sound less empty is layering stuff. Like something you'll notice as I show you this FLP is pretty much every single thing, like every single melody is being like layered. It's more than one instrument playing the same melody, which makes it sound more powerful, but also makes it sound more full, which is like what we want. That's pretty much it for this part, except for this like tempo increase. The song starts at 160 and then it goes all the way up to 220. Then there's this weird like distorted fill thing. This, I put a destructor on the master track that basically just like, this is just like a preset on destructor. It makes everything sound like all destructed and like distorted and really just kind of bad, but that's what I was going for here. We're gonna mute the vocals so I can talk about the instrumental for this part really quickly. So yeah, it's pretty much the same. This no longer has the C to F sharp progression. It just hangs out at C. This part is definitely way more empty than this like back here part. Just so that way I could leave room for these vocals. It has that like clock ticking thing again. But now it has this. This is a free sample, but I put Portal on it, which is like a really weird, it just makes it sound super like delayed and like weirdly pitched. I like spliced up the chase music to be all like, so after the, like, I don't know, it just plays like an open hi-hat and the little like after the first beat. It's like, this snare from earlier is back. It's switched back from this, back to this. And over here, the kick is different. It's a way more muffled, soft sounding kick. This is the kick that is used for most of the song. You will barely get to hear that again for like the rest of the song. This is another loop that I put in just to add more percussion. This, I did not change this at all. It's just in it as it is. Something that I should probably mention is like, don't let people tell you you can't use loops because it's like cheating or something. Those loops were made to be used and it's definitely not cheating. I've seen people get creative with loops, and I think loops, they provide a lot of inspiration and ways for you to structure your songs and whatnot. I have this low piano note that just kind of like, it just plays here again. Right before this part, I have this like riser thing. I bet there's probably an easier way I could have automated this, but I don't know. I just did it like that. What even is this? Oh yeah, this is like a really quiet chant. That's about it for the instrumental at this part. Except for like this, but this is just a downlifter. It's really quiet. So now for the vocals. How did I do AOONI's voice?
While inside this maze, you're in my domain. You're searching for energy you can't sustain.
So aside from the copious amount of vocal effects, if I just like turn them off, no wait, I didn't need to do that. If I just like turn them off,
while inside this maze, you're in my domain. You're searching for energy you can't sustain. Hitting the switches and flipping the lights. No reason to try when you're on my sights.
So it's not that different. What I did here to get his voice to sound like that was
I did like a really deep Batman voice like this.
And then I recorded it like that. And then I just pitched the formant slightly down. That's all I did. Yeah, look, down here, the pitch, right here. I just pitched it slightly down, and that's all I did to get this. There's a few other effects on here that definitely help, like a compressor, a slight chorus, but mostly vocodecks, which if I turn this all the way up, it sounds like this.
While inside this maze, you're in my domain.
But I have that, it's like kind of subtle, so it sounds like this.
While inside this maze, you're in my domain. You're searching for energy you can't sustain. Hitting the switches and flipping the lights. No reason to try when you're on my sights.
I mean, yeah, that's about it. Moving on to this part, I'm going to do the vocals first here. This is totally different. This is just my voice. Super auto-tuned and robotic for this part.
Think about the red and juicy flesh. Think about the skin that you possess. Skin your friends and make them mine. Then I'm back to you with a new design. Blueberry demon so horrid and lurid. Can't see the door cause I obscure it. Running and running until you fall. Slamming the door, stuck in the...
Yeah, I mean like, so what I did to get this was I just like took me like half rapping, half singing. I don't really. I probably should have like planned this part out better. I like low-key didn't even know what I was doing, and like auto-tuned it.
Think about the red and juicy flesh. Think about the skin that you possess.
And then here, these are like even more auto-tuned. So I have a low voice and then a mid voice, and this is the high voice. This is the low one.
Think about the red and juicy flesh.
This is the mid one.
Think about the red and juicy flesh.
So together, and they're both like stereo in both ears, so they sound like this together.
Think about the red and juicy flesh. Think about the skin that you possess. Skin your friends and make them mine. Then I'm back to you with a new design.
Yeah, I think it just sounds super robotic, which is what I was going for. The instrumental at this part is totally different than the rest of the song. It sounds like this. Okay, so this thing again, this is gonna be there for like a lot of the song, you'll probably notice. New thing, I added a cinematic drum loop. It's kind of quiet, but it really exaggerates the drums more. Yeah, this piano from earlier is back. This is back. This is back. Except for this ARP thing, this is new. As well as this thing. See, this plays in your left ear, and this thing plays in your right ear, so together they sound good. Mostly this part is just constructed of stuff that's from earlier in the song, except for this little loop. So this overlaid with my kick from before makes these good, like, makes this really nice sounding, subtle 4 on the floor drum pattern. As well as this open hat that I put here. Yeah, that's like literally it for this part. There's nothing really to write home about. There's this little buffer part right here. I don't know. This is just like a sound effect. I don't even know what that's from, honestly. I just typed like door into my search part here and that popped up. This sounds like FNAF, but I know it's not. If someone can tell me what that's from, then yeah, that would be nice. All right, now for this part. This is low-key my favorite part. Listen to this. All right, so what's going on here? It's this thing again. It's muffled now. There's no high stuff. Like the whole song practically gets muffled at this part, except for this really quiet ambient C note that we heard earlier and the clock. See, without the C, it sounds like this. It makes a really big difference at this part, and the C just makes it so much better. I have this like scary thing. I think this played earlier in the song. I don't know if I talked about it. This little thing is back. A key to making your songs just sound better and more pleasing to the ear is don't have like new stuff like every 2 seconds. It's good to have a song that isn't repetitive, but I think something that a lot of people forget is that repetition is something that you want in your music. It's just hard to find that sweet spot when something is too repetitive or not repetitive enough. Because the way like the human brain works is if I'm listening to a song and I hear this thing, this little thing familiar, I'm gonna remember it from when I heard it at this part. That's what your brain is doing. It hears stuff that it heard earlier in the song and it's like, oh, it's that part. That's what makes a song feel like a song. And that's just how you do repetition. It's just try not to do it like too much. Don't have like a 3-minute like loop of the same 4 bars. For this part, again, this is a build-up. There's nothing like crazy going on here. This cinematic drum thing is back. This like becomes unmuffled. Yeah. Then there's like this thing, I guess. And then I did add this fill right here, like a... But the thing that makes this part so crazy is it's like... But I added that distortion thing from earlier, so it sounds like... It sounds so, like, jarring and crazy. And that's like... I don't know why I added that. Music is just adding stuff for no reason. Don't be... I think, like... The key to being creative and improving in music is do not be afraid to experiment. If something, like, if you have an idea but you think it'll sound bad, do it anyways. And, like, just, I don't know, like, and if it sounds bad, then okay, cool, just, like, remove it. You know, now you know it sounds bad. But the way I see it, I don't think anything objectively sounds bad. I think something that sounds bad in one song could work perfectly in a different song. I think a good example is these vocals that I did for this part.
They say there are monsters that lurk in these walls. I can hear how it wanders around the labyrinth along with all of them scattering. Do you believe in the afterlife? Do you believe in a God? Because once it is after night, you cannot escape the facade.
So, like, this sounds really cool to have a whispering part at the super muffled part in the song. But if I had this anywhere else in the song, it would not sound good. It would not fit. It just wouldn't sound good at all. You know, just something like that. Also, you're probably noticing how I have 3 tracks here. Well, the thing that I did with like this here is I have one track that's centered.
They say there are monsters.
I have one track that's playing only in your left ear.
They say there are monsters.
Except for the delay, which plays in your right ear. Then I have this track that only plays in your right ear. So all of these 3 together makes the voice really sound like it's around me. Like if I turn off these effects and just play the center track, it sounds like this.
They say there are
which, like, that doesn't sound very good. But still, with no effects, if I just have these 3 tracks, it sounds so much better.
They say there are monsters that lurk in these walls.
I do that with literally all of my vocals throughout the whole song. I have more than one vocal of the same thing panned in each ear to make it sound just better. It makes it more stereo, and it makes it fit in with the rest of the song better. Where was I? Why is this off? Yeah.
They say there are monsters.
I didn't do anything crazy here except for that really loud delay. Yeah, that's it. And now for the chorus, if you even want to call it this, I guess. Because the chorus has no lyrics. And that was kind of the plan from the start. I didn't want it to have lyrics. I just wanted it to have like flashing imagery and like cool stuff going on in the music video. So let's just get to this part. I'm sure something you're noticing already is that, yet again, this is just full of stuff that we've already heard earlier in the song. This piano. This is new. This is a string section. You can't really hear it though. I'm actually not sure if it would make a difference if I just muted this. Though the chorus does follow a different chord progression. This chant again, this weird robot whispering voice thing. That C note from before. These are like some open hi-hats. This is like a dubstep loop that I sampled and is actually in my sample pack that I'm gonna be uploading soon. It's not that fast. Like the original sample isn't that fast. I just sped it up for this song. So if I play it with all the other drums I added, it sounds like this. Fits way better with the song. The bass is literally playing the same pattern, just with different notes to fit to the chord progression. Where the chord progression here is it's the root note and then it goes G sharp to G. It's pretty basic, but it sounds nice and melodic, especially for this part. This is like some weird growly like dubstep thing that I distorted a lot. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even know what to say about that. I cut off, like, the low end of it. This thing again. And, of course, the chase music. The chase music plays for, like, almost the whole song. It's kind of quiet, but it's more obvious at some parts than it is at other parts. This piano is also playing a different melody. It's just gentle. That's about it, except for this like glitchy thing. I just repeated every note, but put like an automation for the volume on the master channel. After that, the song pretty much repeats itself. We go back to this intro part, but I changed it a bit. So, like, this thing again, these chords again, the clock again. Except now it's faster, because like I said, the BPM at the start changed to 220. Except there's this new thing. This is a sample. This is sampled from an F&F song. The song is called Trapped. Yeah, I don't know. The orchestral drums are here now. And my voice is here again, whispering. It's kind of hard to hear, but I'm saying hide. I don't know why. I thought that would be like easier to hear. I got done recording this. I was like, why does it sound like I'm saying hi? Anyways. This piano there. Scary crash, chase music. But now we have this part, which this part is like goofy. This part is supposed to be funny. So, like, this is like a trap part because this is the Fuwadi solo. Fuwadi is a different character in AOONI. I have this like 808. I distorted it a lot. Compressor, sound goodizer, and fast distortion. Yeah, this part just sticks around C. This is another subtle bass. This is some like really quiet trap sample. Along with the drums that I added myself. That's about it for this. There's nothing like crazy going on at this part. This new sample right here that I played earlier. This is the only part in the whole song this plays. This is like Fuwadi's little motif, I guess. And Fuwadi's vocals are the same as AOONI's, all the way back here. It's just that I did something a little different for AOONI. No, not AOONI. Fuwadi.
Feel the chill, shadows roam.
So I've recorded them the same way. I did this like stupid Batman voice. Except instead of pitching them down, I turned the formant up. To make it sound more like a weird gremlin instead of like a weird scary monster.
Feel the chill, shadows roam. In the dark, you're far from home.
Yeah. This is the part where Booster Dooster wrote the lyrics. So, yeah. This part that's literally it for this part. I don't know. You might think this is familiar.
Think about the red and juicy flesh.
That's because it is literally this part with no differences.
Think about the red and juicy flesh. Think about the red and...
It's just copied and pasted. This is going back to that repetition thing. Listening to the song, you hear this part and your brain goes, "Oh, that's the part from earlier." And that's just like, I don't know. It makes you want to keep listening to the song because naturally, when you hear that part from earlier, you like it. So your brain subconsciously wants to hear it again. And so when it starts playing again, then your brain is happy. It's like, oh, this is that part that I like playing again. So there's nothing really to say here. I already explained it. This part here, it's this again, except it's a little different at this part. I added this loop here. Just to make the build-up sound not only more unique, but more just like have a higher tension. Because when it builds up that tension, then it makes the beat drop sound cooler. That's all it does. Except the lyrics here are different. They're a little different than before.
You know of the monsters that lurk in these walls. Your friends have all passed, yet you have nothing to gain other than all the guilt you've amassed. Believe in the afterlife.
Yeah, they're just a little different because I thought repeating this part again would have been a little like pretentious. But that's it. Except for the second chorus, if you even want to call it that, because it doesn't even have lyrics. The BPM slows back down to 160, and the key drops from C minor to B sharp minor. So it sounds like this. I mean, like, this like weird fill part is just disguised by a bunch of distortion. It sounds like this. It's just like this weird dubstep fill along with this sound effect, which is just this thing. Yeah. There's nothing crazy going on here. This was just to add a smooth transition from the fast C minor to the slow B sharp minor. And in which this is exactly the same as the chorus over here. It's just everything is pitched down one semitone to fit the B minor scale. And then it does that repeating thing that it did earlier. And then it goes back to this part that was all the way back here at the beginning. It plays this again. In which this is also B sharp minor. This has been pitched down a note. And this one doesn't speed up all the way up until the end, in which it does that distorted, glitchy thing that it did back here. And then it tapers off the high frequencies, and then it just cuts out. And that's the end of the song. So that's how I made this song. I definitely look forward to making more stuff with my voice in the future, and maybe doing it in a more organized manner. But yeah, thank you for watching. I don't think I'm gonna release this project file publicly, but if like a bunch of people want me to, then yeah, I will. But I'll see you later. Bye.